a local school district here is alleging ICE agents detained a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota right now?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense. Now, there are so many of these cases like that where if you just understand the context, there have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second, we don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all, but if we had a little cooperation from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
There is new disagreement over ICE actions in Minnesota, this time involving a 5-year-old boy you see there. ICE is accused of detaining Liam Ramos in his driveway. The Trump administration says that's not what happened at all.
When they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
Somebody else saw me and said to the agents, "School is here. The school is here. They can take him." And I said, "Yes, I'm here. I am here. I can help with that."
You offered to take him, and you saw ICE agents drive away with
Yes.
the 5-year-old boy.
Yes.
School district officials from the Minneapolis suburbs say Ramos is one of its 4 students detained by ICE so far. They say he and his father claimed asylum at the border during the Biden administration. They believe the boy and his father are both being held at the same detention facility in Texas.
There was a 5-year-old that was recently detained. I have a 5-year-old. And the thought of having a little kid go through these circumstances where they are getting treated so badly and their family is being villainized, yeah, it's deeply troubling. What this administration has been doing in utilizing ICE has been deeply problematic. ICE has operated for decades. And right now what we are seeing is a deep need, bottom to top shift of how they're operating, bottom to top. We can't have this kind of unconstitutional activities on our streets.
I will have to get back to you with any of this in-depth criminal history, but he was in the United States illegally, and I believe he'd been ordered removed.
I'm from the AP. Your press people do have my contact information. Yep. What's the son's legal status and immigration history?
The family came across as a family unit illegally a few years back. I can't get the date off the top of my head.
Can you tell us anything about ICE's interactions with the mother as well as her legal status and immigration history?
We have not encountered the mother as of this time.
The 5-year-old yesterday, some of you had questions on the 5-year-old yesterday. That 5-year-old remains with his family. We say that again, remains with his family. We know that. That false media narrative that was pushed out yesterday was, well, it was false. It remains with his family.
Let me debunk a couple more lies. Conejo Ramos was not walking to school with his child, and we did not target the child. alias fled from law enforcement officers and left his child behind. Again, middle of winter in a car. We will enforce the law as it's written, but we will go above and beyond to reunite families because that is who we are.
How can you justify incarcerating a child because of a civil violation, which again is not even accurate here because they entered lawfully through the CBP-1 program? And this family was not eluding ICE in any way. They were following all the established protocols, pursuing their claim for asylum, showing up for their court hearings, and posed no safety, no flight risk, and never should have been detained. These are not illegal aliens. They came properly, they came legally, and are pursuing a legal pathway.
The young boy Liam and his father, who were taken yesterday, have the documentation. I saw it with my own eyes when I visited the home.
I was on my way to get my own children from school, and I heard the commotion and saw all the people. And as I got out of my car and came around the corner, I heard, "What are you doing? Don't take the child." His mom, like, there are people here that can take him. There was another adult who lived in the home that was there saying, "I will take the child. I will take the child." Somebody else was yelling. They saw that I was there and said, "School is here. They can take the child. You don't have to take them." And there was ample opportunity to be able to safely hand that child off to adults. And mom was there. She saw out the window, and dad was yelling, "Please do not open the door. Don't open the door," because of the other picture that I'm sure you've seen where there's a little boy knocking at the door with an ICE agent looming over him.
This is happening all over the country, Anderson, and the notion that a 5-year-old boy would be taken alone for 24 hours by these masked, armed ICE agents is horrific, and it is horrifying. And the way that ICE is treating unaccompanied children, the way they're treating American citizens, the way that they are forcing people to show their papers as if we're in Nazi Germany is unconscionable. But yes, Kristi Noem admitted in that hearing that anybody who has an open asylum case who is deported they are doing that in violation of the law. And that's happening all over the place. And for that reason and many others, Kristi Noem needs to go today.
Good evening. We begin tonight with this little boy now in federal custody along with his dad, a preschooler who's now separated from his mom. His name is Liam Conejo Ramos. He's 5 years old. By now, millions have probably seen this image of him dressed for Minnesota winter in a blue bunny hat. Or this one of him at the door of his home in the Minneapolis suburb of Columbia Heights, a masked federal agent standing behind him. Tonight we have a fuller picture, though by no means a complete one, and there are conflicting accounts of what was happening in this moment. We do know that his dad picked him up and drove him back from a nearby preschool Tuesday afternoon. An attorney for the family, along with 2 local school officials, provided some new details this evening about what happened after the agent showed up. The school board chair, Mary Granlund, says she saw what transpired at the door.
So I was on my way to get my own children from school, and I heard the commotion and saw all the people. And as I got out of my car and came around the corner, I heard, "What are you doing? Don't take the child." His mom, like, there are people here that can take him. There was another adult who lived in the home that was there saying, "I will take the child. I will take the child." Somebody else was yelling. They saw that I was there and said, "School is here. They can take the child. You don't have to take them." And there was ample opportunity to be able to safely hand that child off to adults. And mom was there. She saw out the window, and dad was yelling, "Please do not open the door."
Well, late today, the Department of Homeland Security posted its own account online. Quoting from it now, "Our officers made multiple attempts to get the mother inside the house to take custody of her child. Officers even assured her that they would not take her into custody. She refused to accept custody of the child. The father told officers he wanted the child to remain with him." Earlier today, Vice President Vance, who was in Minneapolis, offered his own account.
And I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do?
Well, keeping him honest, according to the family attorney today, Liam and his dad were not in the country unlawfully.
Liam and his dad did enter the United States at a port of entry to seek asylum through the CBP-1 app at the Brownsville border crossing. So they did everything right when they came in. They used the app, they made an appointment, they came to the border and presented themselves to Customs and Border Patrol. They've shared all of their information with the government, and they were following the process. These are not illegal aliens. They came properly, they came legally, and are pursuing a legal pathway.
So according to him, Liam's dad was not, as the vice president called him, an illegal alien. The attorney also says he could find no record he'd committed any crimes in Minnesota. And DHS, they've not made a mention of any criminal charges or convictions, which you think they would have, or the vice president would have, if there were any. In any case, Liam's father, at least at this point, does not appear to be the type of migrant the administration has said repeatedly that it is focusing on.
Remember when they used to say that the people that come into our country as immigrants are very nice people, they're wonderful people, they don't commit crime. No, they make our criminals look like babies. They make our Hell's Angels look like the sweetest people on earth.
I know you were not there, but you did speak to Liam's mother, who we're told was actually home when ICE agents arrived. How is she doing tonight? What did she tell you about what happened?
Well, you know, I spoke with her a few times, and she was terrified. They were using this baby. The ICE agents were trying to use the baby for her to come out of her house, but the neighbors step up. Neighbors advised her not to do it. The neighbors were trying to get the baby or the 5-year-old to give it to her. And this is a pregnant woman with another 13 or 14-year-old boy as well.
She believes that they were trying to get her to come out. She didn't believe that they weren't going to take her as well.
No, absolutely. And I believe her because I've seen how they're acting here in Minneapolis. You know, I'm a pastor from Mexico, and I've seen how cartels work in Mexico. And just so you know, as a pastor, I'm telling you this, ICE in Minnesota is acting worse than the cartels in Mexico. In Mexico, cartels don't target kids or pregnant women. And ICE is just not respecting the law. The difference between ICE and cartels in Mexico is that ICE has immunity here. They killed Rene Nicole, and they're just doing horrible things here in Minnesota. Arresting criminals, a 5-year-old, and today there's a 2-year-old missing too.
There is. My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we are hearing stories like this. You know this family. It's more than a hypothetical, more than a story. It is a person. It's a little boy. It's a family. Have you heard from Liam or his father since they were detained?
Well, the last time I spoke with her, I spoke with a person from the school district, and they're taking care of her, and they're trying to help her to get the baby, the 5-year-old back with her. And I'm trusting they're taking care good of her with their attorney, with some activity members, community members from the community. So I'm trusting that she will get the baby back, but it looks really, really hard. We've been providing food for like 27,000 families since this happened 7 weeks ago. And a lot of people call me daily with problems. Daily they call me. So this person called me at 12 a.m. Wow. That they couldn't find the baby, so I made some phone calls to attorneys, to the chief of police of different cities, and it's just incredible what we're going through here in Minnesota. It's just horrible what's going on.
Well, I want you to know, as you have probably heard, I mean, DHS is having a very different story, and they are saying that they made multiple attempts to get his mother inside the house to take custody of her child, and the officers say they even assured her that they would not take her into custody, and she was the one to refuse to accept custody of the child, and that the father told officers he wanted the child to remain with him. What is your response to the claims they're making?
I think they're just lying like they usually do. And there's a lot of witnesses there. There were neighbors there trying to prevent for them from taking a pregnant woman with another 13-year-old. And the scary part of this is that the mother did not know anything about the boy. It was over 24 hours. The Columbia Heights Police Department was looking for the boy. The Minneapolis Police Department got involved with it until I believe Senator Tina Smith is the one to find out that the boy, around 1 p.m., that the boy was flying to Texas. At that moment, we did not know whether the boy was with the father or not until later on, and I believe they're together in Texas in a familiar cell. So, you know, these are the criminals that the ICE is arresting, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and one, they're getting the terrorists that they were saying, the drug dealers. This is just devastating. And another thing that is happening in Minnesota is that, you know, they're fighting for religious freedom and stuff like that. Latino churches, 80% of them are closed. They're not having services. I used to have 500 members coming each week.
And why do you think they're not coming?
They're targeting Latino people, legal, undocumented, citizens, residents. They're arresting DACA recipients. They're arresting people with work permits. They're just, you know what it looks to me here? This looks like ethnic cleansing. That's what it looks like. This is racism in the name of patriotism. And that's coming from a pastor that believes what the Bible says. And what they're doing, I guess the new Pharaoh does not know Joseph.